Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. It's Heathcliff and Jennifer here from Topmeadows. In this video today, we're going to be talking about Airbnb SEO, why it's important, why you need it, and how to optimize your Airbnb listing. Now, before we start, please make sure to like and subscribe. Send it to someone that you feel like it may be useful to, and yeah, let's get straight into the video. So what is SEO? Well, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and it's how and where you link on Airbnb's platform effectively. It's not the exact definition, but more or less it is. Why it's important is because the higher you rank on Airbnb listing and the better optimize your listing is, the more money you will make effectively. The more people will see your listing, more people will book your listing, you will make more money. So it's very, very important, especially when there's hundreds, thousands of listings. You want to be the top ones, because if you're searching something on Google, you don't go to the 4th, 5th page to find your answer. You just go for the first, maybe second. So you want to be on the first or second page. So here's some tips on how to do it.
All of these tips are what Airbnb uses to push certain listings up. And obviously Airbnb wants to push the best listings so that their guests that are booking can see the best listings and they can just book, which automatically makes Airbnb a lot of money because they get paid from commissions that they charge us, the host. If obviously you're doing everything that Airbnb wants you to do, then you're going to push your property more in hopes that the guests will book your property, and then of course making them money. So yeah, these are some of the tips, and yeah, I hope they help you.
So tip number 1 is to use all the characters in the title. Why this is important, because obviously the more words and key phrases you have in there, when guests search for these key phrases, you're likely to move up. If you're only using a certain amount, you're not maximizing how much you can be showing up search results. We would advise as well, a lot of people do this, but if you're in a certain city, don't put that city in the title because it just wastes space. Guests already have searched for the city, so every Airbnb listing that they're seeing are in that city. So if you put in Manchester, great apartment, city centre, or whatever it is, it's that whole Manchester, or however many letters that is just taking up unnecessary space effectively. So make sure you maximize all of it. Make sure you add in key features in your Airbnb list. If you've got a balcony, if you've got a island kitchen or free parking, add these things in and maximize as much characters as you can.
Yeah, I think adding on to that as well is to put symbols in your listing where applicable. So obviously symbols is just one character, so it doesn't take up as many of your characters, because I think you only have 50 characters and you want to basically mention everything that is good about your property in these 50 characters. So you don't want to say has free parking and balcony and this. You want to say free parking plus balcony plus Netflix or whatever you want to do. So that's just another tip as well, to kind of utilize that whole 50 characters. Okay, another tip for you to optimize your SEO is to change your listing often. And this can be the tiniest bit of change. If you could just put a dot or just change your photos around, that will make a huge difference to your listing, because it's showing Airbnb that you care about your listing, you're constantly updating the listing, and it keeps your listing as up to date as possible. We try and, well, yeah, I'll say we do it every day, but you don't have to do it every day. I'd say at least once or twice a week, change some stuff in your listing around, and it's just keeping your listing fresh, it's keeping it updated, and Airbnb will push that more because it shows that you care about your listing.
Next tip is to keep your response rate really high and your cancellation rate really low. This is important because Airbnb actually tags hosts who have high response rates and low cancellation rates as good listings. So on the Airbnb platform, you will see that there's a response rate out of 100. Obviously, you want to keep it as high as you possibly can. You can use Airbnb's save feature, save messages and auto message.
They have that now.
If you have multiple listings, you can use Airbnb's auto message and save messages to quickly do this, so you are responding within the 24 hours that they allow you. If you start falling below this, Airbnb will start pushing your listing down because you're not responding to guests and effectively not really making them money. And that's pretty much all what the SEO is really about, to be honest. Same with your cancellation rate. If you're cancelling a lot of bookings and you're doing this very frequently, Airbnb will tag you, say thinking that you're not hosting guests, so you're not making them money, so they'll start pushing you down. So make sure, if possible, keep your response rate 100, keep your cancellation rate 0. For superhosts, you have to have them in certain boundaries, so just keep that in mind.
I think adding on to that as well is to make sure you respond to every single inquiry. So even if it's an inquiry that you don't want to host, you just think, oh, I don't want to host you, I'm just going to ignore you. That doesn't help with your response rate. So you always, especially for booking requests or inquiries that come in, you want to either pre-approve it or decline it. So whatever you decide to do, you just make sure if you decide to decline it, just make sure you click decline and you state a little reason why you've declined it. So yeah, don't just ignore the booking. Just think, I don't want to take this booking. And yeah. Okay, so another tip for you is to make sure that you're keeping your calendar as updated as possible. If you're using a channel manager, if you're using a good channel manager, that is, you shouldn't really be getting double bookings and anything like that. So your calendars will be updated automatically for you. However, if you're not using a channel manager and say you're on booking.com and you're just on Airbnb, Agoda, and your lots of other sites, you need to be making sure that your calendar is up to date. Because what Airbnb don't want is that you get a booking on Airbnb and then you get another booking on another platform, and then you're then having to now cancel the Airbnb booking. That doesn't obviously make Airbnb any money because you're cancelling the booking. So you want to make sure your calendar is up to date. If there's any particular dates that you don't want to host, say you don't want to do New Year's, you don't want to do Ramadan, you don't want to do Christmas, make sure that you block it off. And yeah, just keep your calendar updated because you don't want to, Airbnb doesn't want you to cancel so they don't make money. So yeah.
I think they actually penalise you if you cancel for certain reasons as well. So obviously you lose money for doing this. So making sure your calendar is updated is important. This tip may not be for everybody because it could encourage more party guests, but Airbnb does promote listings that have instant book on. The reason for this is that if a guest can instantly book, it's more likely that Airbnb will make money, and you yourself as well. You can set parameters about instant book to have certain requirements from the guests before they can instant book. We advise that if you have days that are a bit slow, turn on instant book so you can just get the room or the house or whatever filled, and then you can just make a bit of money that way. It's not for everybody, like I said. If you haven't got the systems in place and you're cleaning and the house isn't ready, I wouldn't advise doing that. Have those things first and then have instant book on so you're ready for a guest to come in within an hour, 30 minutes, or any time after your check-in time.
Like Keith said, there is some parameters or some requirements that you can put for instant book. So for example, to be able to instant book our property, you need to have your Airbnb profile verified, and you need to have recommendations from other hosts to be able to book from us. If you don't have these things, you have to send in a reservation request, and then we have the option to approve or decline the request.
Airbnb does this automatically, so if they don't fit the parameters, it just won't have the option for them. So yeah, it's a bit easy.
Another tip for you is to make sure you have a guidebook. Now on Airbnb, you do have an option to create a guidebook, check-in instructions, and I think you can create a manual, a house manual to show the guests how to turn on hot water, TV, and stuff like that. So you want to make sure you include a guidebook in your listing because you want to make sure you have everything that the guests need. And when they are coming to your property, they can just go on Airbnb, check-in is there, house guide is there, manual is there. Now this is quite important because it all adds to the guest experience, and Airbnb wants to make sure that they don't have to refund the guest any money for whatsoever reason, because of course they're not getting their money either. So if you have your guidebook, your check-in instructions, your manual, everything is there for the guest. If anything is going wrong and they can't get in contact with you for whatever reason, they can just go on the guidebook and everything is there for them. So you're less likely to have issues with guests saying, oh, they weren't able to reach you because they couldn't turn the hot water, so they had to cancel the booking, and Airbnb has to give you a refund. So yeah.
You'll notice that you'll probably get a lot of prompts to do this from Airbnb when you're on the platform. Anytime you see these prompts, just go with any of these features because they have put these there to effectively make your listing better and people book your property easier, which then Airbnb will promote because they will then get commission and then they will make the money. So yeah, just use all the features that you can on Airbnb platform. Most of these are the features that you probably get prompted daily if you log in. So this obviously goes without saying, but reviews are really, really important on the Airbnb platform. Making sure that you have 5-star reviews across the board, even though sometimes it may not happen, but trying your hardest to get the highest reviews possible is pretty much one of the most important reasons why Airbnb will rank you high or low on your listing. This obviously shows or reflects you as a host and your property to guests. So if you have a lot of bad reviews, Airbnb doesn't want to promote you because you make bad experiences for the guests. So it's not good for them, so it's not good for your listings if you have a lot of bad reviews. If, say, for some unforsaken reason, you get a lot of bad reviews, because once you get one bad review, it will take multiple to get up to the 4.5, 4.7 star. If you do get a lot of bad reviews very quickly, we would recommend just terminating that listing and then creating a new one. You then get another boost, which you should get a few bookings on. And if you make sure that you're trying your hardest to make the guest experience, even though some problems go wrong, just trying your hardest, to make sure that they have a great experience on your property is really, really important. It does really affect your listing quickly if you start getting 1 and 2 star reviews.
Yeah, and I think not just take down your listing and then just upload it again, is to actually implement what are the guests complaining about, and take those comments and implement the changes in your new listing, so that you don't want to have to then take down your other listing and do that whole process all again. So just make sure you're listening to your guests' feedback and implement the changes that they have made so that you can be a better host. Another very, very, very important part of your SEO is your pictures. Now, this goes without saying, your pictures are the first thing your guests are going to see. Is what's going to make them click on your listing in the first place. And especially if you're in a market where it's very saturated, the guests are going to be scrolling. You want to make sure that you're the one that they stop to have a look at. And you can do this by professional photos. Now, I know when you first start out, you just think, I can just take a picture on my phone. My iPhone has a sick camera. I can do it by myself. Don't do that. Make sure you hire a professional photographer, because it makes a world of a difference. Your phone is not going to be as good as a professional camera. So make sure you get a good photographer. Take photos of your property from different angles and in the rooms from different angles, because you want the guest to be able to gauge the whole property, gauge the space just from the photos. Most of the time, the guests don't really tend to read past maybe the first paragraph in your listing, and then everything else is the photos. So you want to say everything that's good about your property from your photos. You want to sell the kitchen, but not just show the kitchen, just show the worktops. You want to show that you've got cutlery, you've got pots and pans, you've got plates. In the bathroom, you want to show that you've got soap dispensing, you've got shampoo. If you have a balcony, you want to show a balcony, but not just a balcony. You want to put seating in the balcony. In the bedroom, you want to roll your towels nicely. Just stage the property nicely. Just make it inviting. Say everything that you want to say about your property in your photos, especially your first 5 photos is what the guest sees on the Airbnb platform. So you want to say everything about your property in those first 5 photos. That will just make the guest like, ooh, I'm going to click on that. They'll read what they need to read and then book. Now, even if they don't book your property for whatever reason, as long as people are clicking your listing and favoriting your listing, that massively helps with your SEO, because the more people click on it, it obviously shows that people are thinking about booking it. So Airbnb is going to push it a little bit more to hopefully try and convert those lookers onto bookers to obviously get them commission.
Adding on to that, with your photos, you have an option to write a caption on it as well. Just list everything that's every room that's on the photos effectively. This is another feature that Airbnb implements, so use that feature as well to just help guests just have an easier time to book.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because like for us, we've got a property that has single beds but can also be turned into super king beds. So we put it in the description that it's got 2 single beds, but this can be made into a super king bed. So the guests know that, I don't really want 2 single beds. I didn't know that, I have an option to make it a super king bed.
There are, of course, not every single thing that will affect your search results on Airbnb, but these are what we feel are the main things that dictate whether our listing's on the 3rd page or the 1st page. If you do search for your listing, make sure you're doing it on an incognito tab or from someone else's device, because your cookies will affect where you you will see your listing on the Airbnb platform. If you do notice that your listing is on the 5th, 6th page, or you can't even find it, if you go through all these tips, you should find within a week or a few days, your listing will start creeping up. And making sure that your guests have a good response. Your guests have a good stay, and you're getting good reviews, and you're constantly updating these things. That's what's going to push you up higher and higher and higher. You'll notice any city or anywhere in the world, the people who have the listings on the first page are really good listings. They're really solid, have good pictures, good descriptions, they have good reviews, they're usually super hosts. And it's because of these reasons how they get there and maintain there. These are the people who are going to be the top performers in the city and make the most money effectively. And that's what everybody wants. So really do think about this. You may do it on booking.com as well, about how SEO, because it works slightly differently there. Thank you for watching, guys. We hope all these tips can help you and make more money in your Airbnb journey. If you have any questions, comment it below. Connect with us on Instagram. Like and subscribe. Make sure you do that as well. Yeah, thank you for watching.